All right, so welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be looking at dreams.
Okay.
And we've got some excerpts from 10,000 Dreams Interpreted
Right.
by Gustavus Heinemann Miller.
A classic.
It's a classic dream dictionary full of symbolic interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is really fascinating about it is it goes a little bit deeper into the historical and philosophical side of dreams, too.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so interesting. I mean, he goes beyond just saying, if you dream of X, it means Y.
Right, right.
It's like, what is the impetus for these dreams? What's driving them?
Yeah, and the book kicks off with this whole section about dream prophecy throughout history.
Okay.
Like how dreams have seemed to predict or maybe even influence major events.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's some pretty wild examples in here.
Yeah, like
saving Roman emperors' lives.
oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that story about Augustus where he's, seriously ill and his friend has a dream telling him to get out of his tent.
Right.
And Augustus actually listens to the dream. He gets up. He leaves. A few hours later, the enemy attacks the camp, and they find his bed riddled with sword thrusts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that?
It's wild. I mean, is that just coincidence? Or is there something more going on?
Well, I mean, Miller definitely thought it was something more.
Oh,
he really saw dreams as a window into a deeper spiritual reality. He believed they could reveal this higher self,
Okay.
this subjective intelligence that's always trying to guide us.
So like a wiser, more intuitive part of ourselves that we can tap into.
Yeah, that's kind of the essence of it.
Through dreams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how does he describe this? Like, how does he talk about the higher self?
Well, there's this one quote where he calls it a true and loving subjective intelligence, which I think is really beautiful. It's like this part of us that exists beyond our everyday awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a source of wisdom and guidance that we can access through our dreams.
I mean, I love this idea of subjective intelligence.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really kind of, challenges that idea that dreams are just random brain activity.
Totally. It's not just meaningless noise. It's not just our brain, sorting through the day.
Right.
He really saw it as a form of communication.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And almost like he compares it to how biblical figures would receive divine messages in their dreams.
Right.
That's like that.
So how do we start to understand this? How do we make sense of the messages in our dreams?
Well, I mean, he gives thousands of interpretations.
Right.
In this book, 10,000 Dreams Interpreted. But he also really emphasizes that it's not as simple as just looking things up in a dictionary.
Right.
He gives this example of a young woman and a little girl both dreaming about marriage.
Okay.
The dream might be the same,
Mm-hmm.
but the interpretation is going to be vastly different.
Right.
Based on their individual lives and experiences.
So it's about more than just the symbols themselves. It's
Yeah.
about understanding the context,
Totally.
the individual dreamer.
Yeah. And I think that's where the idea of subjectivity comes in.
Right.
It's so personal to us.
Right.
It reflects all of our, experiences and our emotions and maybe even our unconscious beliefs.
So even if two people have the same dream, the meaning could be completely different.
Completely, yeah.
Because it's filtered through their own, individual subjectivity.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. But I'm curious, if dreams are connected to this spiritual realm, to this subjective intelligence,
Yeah.
how do they deal with time?
That's a great question because
It feels like sometimes dreams are just like a jumbled mix of past, present, future.
yeah, they don't really follow the rules of linear time.
Right.
And he actually addresses this head on in the book.
Okay.
He says that there is no past and future to subjectivity. It is all one living present.
Whoa. Okay, so time in the dream world works differently
That seems to be what he's suggesting.
than in our waking lives.
Yeah.
So our higher self,
Right.
our subjective intelligence,
Yeah.
isn't bound by the same linear perception of time
Right.
that we are.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then why can't we accurately predict the future through dreams?
Okay.
You know what I mean? If it's all one big present, shouldn't everything be visible?
Well, he actually gives this really fascinating analogy to explain that.
Okay.
He says that events cast a shadow on our minds as they pass, like a procession moving before a light.
Okay. I like where this is going.
So events from the past have cast a stronger shadow
Okay.
because they've had more time to kind of imprint themselves on our minds.
Yeah.
But events in the future haven't happened yet,
Right.
so their shadows are fainter.
I see.
They're harder to make out.
That's a really cool image.
Yeah.
So it's not that the future doesn't exist, it's just that it's kind of harder to see clearly
Right.
because it hasn't fully formed yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm also noticing that this book, it gets really practical too. It
Okay.
talks about like why dreams can be exaggerated or even like the opposite of what's happening in our waking lives. Why is that?
Well, he thinks that when we're sleeping, our will is suspended,
Mhm.
right? So our dream mind becomes super susceptible to like heightened emotions,
Okay.
like heightened perceptions. So something that might be a small sound in real life could be a deafening roar in a dream.
So it's like our senses are amplified in the dream state.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
because of that heightened sensitivity, our emotions can be exaggerated too.
Right.
So a minor worry in our waking life could become this like full-blown nightmare.
That makes sense. But what about those dreams that seem to be the opposite of what we're experiencing?
Yeah.
Like, let's say if you're really stressed about a presentation, but then you dream that it goes perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He suggests that when we dwell on something constantly in our waking lives, it can lead to dreams that distort it in the opposite direction.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of like our subconscious mind trying to balance the scales. And he even says these contrary dreams, they're kind of a sign that we're not getting proper rest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like our minds are still clinging to these material ideas and worries, even when we're asleep.
So it's like our dreams are trying to compensate for the anxieties
Maybe
that we're carrying around in our waking lives.
it speaks to how interconnected those states are.
Right. It's all connected.
Yeah.
Okay, so this raises, I think, another really important question. The whole challenge of dream interpretation.
Yeah.
I mean, this book has thousands of interpretations, so how do we even begin to make sense of them?
Right.
I mean, if dreams are so personal,
Yeah.
can there really be a one-size-fits-all dictionary?
I think that's such a good point.
Oh.
And he actually acknowledges the complexity of this.
Okay.
He emphasizes that it's not just a matter of matching symbols to like fixed meanings.
Right.
Context is everything.
Yeah. I can see how that would be so crucial.
And he even suggests that certain personality types might be less receptive to the messages in their dreams.
Okay, so it's not just about the dream itself. It's also about the dreamer and their ability to, like, access and interpret that message.
Totally.
Okay.
Like he points out that people who are overly focused on material concerns, people who have a poor memory, or maybe they lack faith in the power of dream consciousness, might find it more difficult to understand their dreams.
That's fascinating. So,
Yes.
like, our mindset and beliefs can actually influence our ability to connect with the dream world.
It seems like it.
But what about those times when a dream literally comes true? Isn't
Yeah.
that like the ultimate validation of dream power?
Well, he thought that was our higher or a spiritual sense grasping the future
Yeah.
ahead of our like physical minds.
Hold on, are we talking time travel here?
Well, he's saying that the spiritual body.
Like, are you saying our spiritual selves can see into the future?
Well, because the spiritual body is always in contact with the approaching future.
Okay.
It can sometimes pick up on events before they manifest in our physical reality.
Okay, so why don't all of our dreams come true then?
Well, remember that analogy with the procession in the shadows.
Right.
The future's kind of like a faint shadow.
Okay.
It's easy to miss or misinterpret.
Mm-hmm.
You need a certain level of clarity and receptivity to actually perceive those impressions accurately.
So it's not just about having the dream, it's about
Right.
being able to recognize and understand it.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, okay.
He thought we all have the potential to grasp coming events,
Right.
but it requires cultivating our, what he calls, inner sight.
Okay, so this is all incredible.
Uh-huh.
Suddenly, it's like dreams aren't just these fleeting random images, but they could be like a source of guidance or even precognition.
Yeah.
But hold on a second. I'm noticing that a lot of dreams seem to use like allegory
Right.
metaphor. Why all the symbolism? Why can't they just be straightforward?
Well, he thought that the prevalence of allegory in dreams was a sign that we've kind of weakened our spiritual force by focusing too much on the material world.
So the more grounded we are in material reality,
Yeah.
the more our dreams have to speak in code.
Almost like our higher self is trying to get our attention.
Right.
But the message is getting muddled by our everyday concerns.
So to understand them more clearly,
Yeah.
we need to cultivate a less material, more spiritual mindset.
That seems to be what he's suggesting. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
If we want to unlock the wisdom, we need to kind of quiet the noise of our everyday worries and be more receptive to those like subtler spiritual impressions.
It's giving me a whole new perspective on dreams.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm seeing them less as just these random events
Mm.
and more as a reflection of like our inner state
Yeah.
or maybe even our connection to something bigger than ourselves.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and that leads us, I think, to one of the most intriguing parts of this whole book. The actual dream interpretations.
Right. Like, let's get into the dream dictionary.
Right.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Let's see what wisdom we can glean from these interpretations.
Okay.
Okay, so absence.
Okay.
So dreaming of someone's absence means regret over a hasty action will lead to lifelong friendships.
Interesting. So it might not be a bad thing at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's a sign that you're going to make amends,
Right.
make a stronger bond.
It's like the absence is like making space
Yeah.
for something new and good.
Clearing it out.
Okay, how about abscess?
Okay.
You'll be overwhelmed by personal misfortune, but you'll also feel deep sympathy for the sorrow of others.
So even when you're going through it, you can still connect with other people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's about empathy.
Okay, abuse.
Okay.
Dreaming of abusing someone means you'll have misfortune in your affairs. Potentially losing money through your own stubbornness.
Right.
But if you dream of being abused,
Right.
you'll be bothered by the hostility of others
Right.
in your daily life.
So it seems to be about conflict,
Right.
navigating relationships carefully.
Okay, this one's a little intense.
Yeah.
Accident.
Oh, boy.
Dreaming of an accident is a warning to avoid travel because you are in danger of losing your life.
Whoa. Okay.
So maybe reconsider that road trip.
Yeah, take that as a serious warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end on something lighter.
Okay.
Accordion.
Right.
Dreaming of hearing accordion music means you will find amusement and joy
Nice.
that will help you overcome sadness.
So even when you're sad, there's still simple pleasures
Right.
that can lift you up.
This is incredible. I mean, we've only just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
But I'm already seeing how he connects dreams to, our emotions,
Right.
our spiritual lives. It's not just about the random symbols. It's about, like, gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves
Right.
and our place in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, for Miller, I think that deeper understanding also involves recognizing that potential for dreams to, like, reveal the future.
Right, right.
And so in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to get into some of the most compelling examples of dream prophecy
Wow, I can't wait to hear those.
that he presents in this book.
Yeah.
Get ready, because they're pretty mind-blowing.
This is already so fascinating.
Yeah. So we've been talking about how dreams can give us these glimpses into a deeper reality,
Right, right.
even potentially revealing the future. And Miller shares some pretty compelling modern-day examples in his book that really make you think.
Okay, yeah. I mean, these historical examples are already pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, get this. There's this story about a prison warden who has this vivid dream about a jailbreak.
Okay.
And he's so struck by it, he decides to take extra precautions.
So what happens?
The very next day, 40 prisoners are caught red-handed trying to escape. His dream seemingly forewarned him about this real-life event.
That's incredible. Like, it gave him this, like, heads up,
Yeah.
Allowed him to prevent this potentially dangerous situation.
Exactly. And it really speaks to that idea that dreams can sometimes be like warnings,
Right, yeah.
protective guides,
Okay.
alerting us to potential danger.
It's kind of unnerving, but also kind of empowering, too, right?
Well,
Like, maybe our dreams can help us avoid making mistakes
totally.
or walking into, like, harmful situations.
Miller definitely believed in that possibility.
Right.
He saw dreams as a way for our higher self to communicate with us, offer guidance, protection.
So, like, having a guardian angel whispering advice.
It's beautiful, yeah. And sometimes those messages can be incredibly specific.
Okay.
Like, there's this woman who dreams that her missing daughter is in a particular apartment.
Wait, hold on. So she has a dream that literally leads her to her daughter.
Yeah. It's so vivid in detail, she can't shake it.
Yeah.
So she goes to the police. She tells them about this dream. She describes the apartment.
I bet they thought she was crazy.
Probably, but they decided to investigate anyway. And guess what?
Right.
They search the apartment. They find her daughter.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Isn't that wild?
It's like the dream was a map.
Totally.
This direct path to finding her daughter.
Yeah.
Ah, that gives me chills.
It really highlights that potential
Right.
for dreams to provide, like, specific guidance,
Right.
even in these seemingly impossible situations.
This is making me want to start paying way more attention to my own dreams.
I know, me too.
Like, what other examples are there?
Well, some are a little more somber. There's a story about Christian H. Ron,
Yep.
businessman.
Mhm.
He has this premonition of his own death in a dream.
Okay.
He tells his son-in-law about it, and 2 weeks later, he suddenly passes away.
Oh, that's chilling.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, in a weird way, maybe a little comforting. Like, maybe those kinds of dreams can help us prepare
Right.
for the inevitable.
Maybe it's a way to kind of come to terms with the cycle of life and death.
Yeah. Yeah, what about the stunt pilot?
Or Locklear.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He told his friend, something tells me I'm going to crash.
And he died in a plane crash.
4 weeks later during a night filming.
It's so sad.
It is sad, but it also raises these questions about, like time and precognition. Could our dreams be tapping into some level of knowing that we don't even really understand?
What is time, really?
Yeah.
I mean, how much control do we actually have over our destinies?
I mean, that's the question, isn't it?
Right, right. Big questions.
Those are questions philosophers have been asking for centuries.
Right,
I mean, I don't think Miller's book gives us all the answers,
right.
but it definitely encourages us to, like, explore these mysteries.
It's interesting. We've been focusing on these big, dramatic examples of dream prophecy, but I wonder if there are more subtle ways that dreams are guiding us
Oh, totally.
in our everyday lives.
I mean, I think those seemingly mundane dreams, the ones that aren't about prison breaks or missing children, they could still be offering us insights.
Okay.
Maybe it's about recognizing the patterns, the symbols that recur in our dreams, and paying attention to how they might be reflecting our emotional state
Right.
or guiding our choices.
So even if we're not having these like big prophetic dreams,
Yeah.
there's still wisdom to be gained from our everyday dream experiences.
Totally. I mean, I think it's about cultivating like a mindful awareness of our dreams, paying attention to how they make us feel, the themes that come up,
Yeah. Right.
the symbols that resonate with us personally.
I love that. Every dream, no matter how small, has the potential to teach us something.
Absolutely. And this actually leads us to another really important part of Miller's work. His advice on how to cultivate what he calls dream power.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I'm so curious about this. What are his techniques for improving dream recall, like understanding?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've been talking about how powerful dreams can be,
Right.
but what if you're someone who rarely remembers your dreams?
That's such a common challenge.
right.
And Miller actually gives a bunch of specific suggestions.
Yeah.
He starts by emphasizing how important it is to cultivate a clear mind before you go to sleep.
So, like, decluttering your mental space,
Yes.
putting aside those to-do lists.
Putting aside the worries.
Yeah.
It's about creating a sense of inner stillness, allowing those subtle impressions from the dream world to come through.
I see.
And he also recommends going to sleep in what he calls a negative or receptive condition.
Negative condition. Okay, that sounds a little scary.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't mean negative in a bad way.
Okay.
It's not pessimistic or cynical.
Okay.
By negative, he means being open and receptive.
Okay.
Kind of like an empty vessel, ready to receive whatever the dream world brings you.
So it's like a mental letting go.
Yes. Surrendering to the mystery.
Right.
And he also emphasizes the importance of relaxing both mind and body,
Okay.
allowing those dreams to appear as realities.
Oh, wow. So like becoming so relaxed that the dream world feels as real as the waking world.
Yeah. And he thought that by achieving this state of deep relaxation, we can have a clearer, more vivid dream experience.
Okay, that's amazing. So then what do we do?
So once you've kind of mastered that relaxation,
Okay.
he says the next step is to actively try to bring those dreams into your waking consciousness.
So like setting an intention
Yes.
to remember.
Focus your will,
Mm-hmm.
direct your attention to the dream world.
Okay.
He believed that simply resolving to remember your dreams could actually increase your ability to do so.
Wow. So you're kind of telling your subconscious,
Okay.
hey, pay attention. I want to remember what happens tonight.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's
really?
like you're creating a link
Right.
between your waking self and your dreaming self.
Okay. Okay.
And then, of course, there's the classic advice, keep a dream journal.
Ah, yes, the dream journal.
Every dream explorer needs one.
Right.
Miller really stressed how important it is to write those dreams down as soon as you wake up.
Okay.
Capture those images, those feelings before they fade.
Yeah, because they do kind of disappear like mist,
They do.
you know.
And finally, Miller emphasizes patience and sincerity.
Okay, so no instant dream mastery.
No, he cautions against expecting instant results. You know, it's a process, a journey.
Right.
It requires dedication, a genuine desire to connect with those deeper layers of ourselves.
So it's about approaching the dream world with respect,
Yes.
reverence.
Seeing it as a sacred space, not just entertainment or random images.
I love that. I love that.
So he's basically saying don't just passively accept whatever dreams come your way.
Right.
Take control.
Okay.
Become a conscious dreamer.
This is so inspiring. It's
Yeah.
like he's giving us these concrete steps to explore our dream world more deeply.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about that concept of subjectivity we talked about. If our spiritual selves, that subjective intelligence, exists in this timeless realm,
Right.
then maybe cultivating a clear mind, being in a receptive state, is about aligning ourselves with that timeless awareness.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like by quieting the noise of our everyday concerns, we're creating space for that wisdom to emerge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it makes you wonder if the dream world, with all its fluidity, its non-linearity,
Right.
is actually closer to the true nature of reality
Mm-hmm.
than our limited linear perception of time.
That is a deep question.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you wonder if dreams are giving us this glimpse into a different way of experiencing reality.
And if that's the case, then dreams could be so much more
Right.
than just, random firings of the brain.
Yeah.
It could be a doorway to a more, expansive and interconnected way of being.
It's a really intriguing idea, and it definitely challenges how we normally think about the relationship between dreaming and being awake.
It makes you wonder if, our modern obsession with rationality, with the material world,
Yeah.
has kind of blinded us to the wisdom that might be available through dreams.
That's a really good point. Maybe by reconnecting with our dream world, we can rediscover like a lost language,
Right.
a way of knowing that's been with us all along.
It makes me think about all those historical examples of dream prophecy we talked about.
Yeah.
Do you think there are, modern day examples too?
Oh, there definitely are.
Okay.
And Miller includes some in his book.
Okay, let's hear about them.
Okay, so there's this fascinating story about this young boy who has a dream,
Mm-hmm.
and it leads him to his father's body after a tragic drowning accident.
Oh, wow.
It's heartbreaking, but also kind of amazing that the dream guided him.
Right.
And what's even more striking is that years earlier, this same boy had predicted his aunt's death shortly before receiving a telegram confirming it.
So it wasn't just a one-time thing?
It seems like he might have had a real gift for precognitive dreaming. Like some people might just be more attuned to that side of dreaming.
This is all so fascinating, but I do have to admit, some of Miller's ideas, especially about dream prophecy,
Yeah.
might raise eyebrows in, the scientific community?
I mean, that's fair. It's
Mhm.
important to remember that while his interpretations and theories are really interesting, they're not necessarily scientifically validated.
Okay.
It's more of a philosophical, spiritual approach.
Right, right. So it's more about exploring the possibilities
Exactly.
than, claiming definite truths.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
But even if we leave aside the question of scientific proof, his work still gives us this opportunity to think about the deeper meaning of dreams.
Mm,
He encourages us to challenge our assumptions about what's possible.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I mean, whether you buy into his, spiritual interpretations or not,
right.
his book definitely makes us take our dreams seriously
Absolutely.
and consider how they might be affecting our lives.
He's urging us to engage with them on a deeper level.
Yeah.
To see them as a source of wisdom, guidance, even creative inspiration.
Oh, speaking of creative inspiration,
Yeah.
there's one more example of dream prophecy
Right.
that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
It involves poetry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this woman, Judith Gautier, passes away.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves behind a collection of novels and poems.
Okay.
A year later, her close friend has a dream where Judith appears to her.
Okay.
And in the dream, Judith tells her friend to write down some poems.
Wait, so she's saying her deceased friend is dictating poetry to her in a dream.
That's exactly what she's claiming.
Whoa.
And she says that the poems were unlike anything she had ever written before.
Okay.
So she ends up publishing these poems in Paris
Wow.
under the title The Glory of Illusion.
That's incredible.
I
It's
know.
like the creative imagination working even beyond, the boundaries of life and death.
But it makes you wonder, what other creative potential is hidden within us? Just waiting to be unlocked through our dreams.
That's the question. That speaks to, like, how vast the dream world is.
This whole exploration has really been eye-opening for me,
Yeah, me too.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Miller's book, it's more than just a dictionary. It's, you know, a philosophical exploration. It's a spiritual guide.
Right.
It's almost like a practical manual all in one.
It's making me want to pay way more attention to my dreams.
Here.
You know, keep a journal
Yeah.
and see what happens.
I think that's a great idea.
It's like we're waking up to this whole new dimension of ourselves, a world of possibilities that we've been neglecting.
It really is. It's like we're reclaiming this lost language, this way of knowing that's been with us all along.
Yeah. So it's like we've uncovered this hidden language, this
Yeah.
way of knowing that's been with us all along, whispering to us through these like images and symbols.
Right.
It's really incredible to think that our dreams might hold such profound meaning,
Yeah.
even potentially offering glimpses into the future.
It's mind-blowing.
If our spiritual selves can truly connect with that realm beyond time and space,
Yeah.
what might your next dream reveal?
Ooh, that's the exciting part, right? Each dream is like a message in a bottle,
Yeah,
a potential portal to a deeper understanding.
right.
It's up to us to pay attention, decipher those symbols, and really listen to what our subconscious is trying to tell us.
It's like we've been handed a treasure map,
Yeah,
and the treasure is hidden within our own minds.
exactly. And the journey of exploring our dreams is also a journey of self-discovery, leading us to a richer, more meaningful experience of life.
I mean, this deep dive has been truly eye-opening.
It has.
Miller's 10,000 Dreams Interpreted is so much more than just a dream dictionary.
It really is.
It's a philosophical exploration,
Yeah,
a spiritual guide, and a practical manual all in one.
I couldn't agree more.
It's definitely inspired me to start paying more attention to my own dreams, to keep a journal, and just see what insights emerge. I'm even thinking about trying some of those relaxation techniques he talks about
Oh, yeah.
to see if I can, like, enhance my dream recall.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Remember, Miller believed that with practice and dedication, we can all cultivate our dream power,
Right.
strengthening that connection to our higher selves and unlocking the hidden wisdom that's within our dreams.
It's like we're waking up
Yeah,
to a whole new dimension of ourselves,
absolutely.
a world of possibilities that we've maybe neglected for far too long.
It's about reclaiming that lost language, that way of knowing that's been with us all along,
Right.
whispering to us through the imagery and symbolism of our dreams.
So to all you listeners out there,
Yeah.
I encourage you to embrace the mystery and wonder of your dreams.
Absolutely.
Don't just dismiss them as, fantasy or random brain activity.
Yeah.
Pay attention, listen closely, and see what they might reveal about yourselves and the world around you.
It's a journey worth taking.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
You can download the book for free from our website.